Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 16 of the Associated Wrestling Press's Second Caution, presented by WrestlingAddicts.com. Have you ever heard of the saying, you want to feel good, you have to look good? Same thing with wrestling. You want to wrestle good, you have to look good. Here's the first step in doing that. Go to WrestlingAddicts.com. Check out what they have to offer. They have singlets. They have shorts, bags, singlets, or shirts, shorts, singlets, bags. Anything you want, they have it. If you're not a fan of what they have to offer, work with one of their creative designers and make your own apparel. That's WrestlingAddicts.com, ADDIX.com. Make sure you go check them out. Now let's get to the show guest. 2015 Big 12 champion, 2015 NCAA All-American, Oklahoma State's Kyle Crutchmer. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was telling you before the show that the way you were getting that Oklahoma State crowd pumped up was, I knew from the start of the tournament that something special was going to happen. But before we spoil everything, so if anyone didn't see the NCAA tournament, they already know you All-American. But let's start with the Big 12 championships. Some people say it was the most exciting match of the Big 12 championships. You and Weatherman of Iowa State. How did you feel after that match? You ended up getting the win. How did you feel after the match?
We know it was nice to finally get to compete in the Big 12 tournament. Past few years, I've been a backup behind Chris Perry, so I was really excited before, and then after, it was a great feeling. I finally got to win a championship in college, and I think it was a great boost for me going into the NCAA tournament. Weatherman is is a tough opponent, and to beat him in his house in front of all his people, I kind of used it as like a training mechanism so I could be ready for a big match in CAs.
Okay, so you're heading into St. Louis on a high note, just coming off the Big 12 championship. Brackets come out, you get the 12 seed. Are you happy with the 12 seed? I know a lot of people were questioning the seeding process that was going on. So you as a wrestler, how did you feel about the 12 seed?
My coaches, they do a really good job of keeping us, not really worrying about the seed, but, your first match. I felt a little comfortable with the 12 seed. I kind of knew the route I would have to take to, become an All-American or even be a national finalist. So, like everyone says, seeds don't really matter at that tournament. And as you can see, through each weight, a lot of the top guys don't even place, or they place somewhere they're not supposed to. So, it really just matters to me who comes to wrestle at that big tournament, and 12 seed really didn't bother me and really didn't make me feel too. It's kind of just like a whatever type situation.
Right, and you mentioned the road that you would have to the NCAA championship, and were you guessing that would have been Bernstein, Butler, Johnny Eblin of Missouri, Kokish, and then whoever you had on the finals, Matt Brown or Mike Evans of Iowa? Was that how you looked at it?
I took it one match at a time. I really didn't look too far into the bracket, but I would lie and say if I didn't, I did look. And that, to me, that's kind of what I pictured. But then again, I've been to the NCAA tournament as a spectator for the past couple of years, and it's never how it seems, So I kind of knew what could happen, but then again, I just, I try to control what I can control, and that's the next match, and that's who I have, whether it's, the number one seed or someone who beat the number one seed. So as far as looking too far ahead, I've never really been too big into that. So
okay, so your first match, as I mentioned, you had Bernstein either way. That's someone that you couldn't get away from. So you beat him. Next up is the number 5 seed in Blaze Butler. Butler having a tremendous year, just getting to his offense, continuing to move his feet, doing great stuff from the neutral position. Very strong wrestler, ACC runner-up, and you just controlled the entire match. Did you know the style that Blaze Butler had before going into that match?
No, actually, he kind of shocked me a little bit at the first. He was really fast. He was getting to the leg a couple of times, and that really is not. I'm not really. A lot of people don't really get to my legs as much as he did in the first period like that. So it kind of took me a minute to adapt, but I like athletic guys and I like wrestling guys that like to take a lot of shots. I feel like that kind of helps me out a little bit because I feel like I'm pretty athletic as well. So it was kind of a style clash. I feel like that kid is really tough. I've watched him. Before I wrestled him, I watched a couple of videos. And, I knew it was going to be a war. I knew I had to bring my A game to beat him. And, luckily I ended up getting my hand raised in that match so I could move on to the tournament. But, no, Butler's a very tough kid, so I kind of knew going in it was going to be a war.
Okay, and what I like you said a little bit earlier was you adapted, and that's the difference between good wrestlers and great wrestlers. Good wrestlers adapt after the match is over. They watch tape, they talk to their coaches, what happened there. Great wrestlers adapt during the match, and that's what I like what you said. Let's move on to the your third round match with Latham of Oregon State, who knocked off Johnny Eblin of Missouri in the first round. You win this match, you're an All-American, and I'm sure that's you came into this tournament with 2 goals to be a national champion, and that national champion solidifies the All-American spot. So this is what you said you take it one match at a time. This match had to have been a little different for you. It had to leave you with that burning thought in your mind of, if I win this, half my goal is achieved. I achieved that All-American status. How did you feel going into this match, and then once the match completed and you locked up that All-American spot, how'd you feel?
For the match, I was trying to, throughout my wrestling career and big tournaments, I've kept a pretty good routine for each match. Whatever I do the first match, I do the third match. If that's even scratch my head right before I walk out there, I try to scratch my head before I walk out there. So that's kind of something weird I've always done. But, I did have the thought of being an All-American in my head, but I also had a thought of, if you lose, you go to the backside. So, to me, I wasn't going to accept a defeat in that situation. I've worked my whole life to get to that spot, not to just that spot, but to become an All-American and to move on to try to become a national champ. So I don't think there were going to be very many people in that arena that were going to beat me in that match, just because I know who I am, and as far as I'm concerned, I know that if I win, I get another Oklahoma State All-American put on the board. So, and that's something I want to do for me and my coaches and my team, to try to help us move on and try to help maybe one day win a national title as a team. So. As far as after being an All-American was nice. My family was really excited. My little brother even said his first cuss word, I think, is what I heard after, because I guess he was pretty excited. So, so I'm not. It was nice, hearing all my, seeing my family and everybody be excited for me, and and also winning that match put me in the national semis, so that gives me another opportunity to try to make a national final spot. So came up short this year, looking to change that up next year.
Okay, so you're wrestling Ty Wilps. He knocks off Kokish. Kokish is number 1 in the nation, 36-0 going into the NCAA tournament, ranked number 1, undefeated. You can't get a better season than he's having, and Ty Wilps knocks him off. Were you wrestling at the point when he knocked him off and the crowd started going crazy, or was it after you realized that you're not wrestling Kokish?
I honestly, it ended right after my match with Latham ended. Like, I looked up and I saw him kind of more excited than Kokish was, obviously, so I kind of knew maybe that Wilps won. I really didn't know until I got back to my hotel. I went immediately, started cutting weight, and then when I found out, I knew me and Wilps had wrestled one time already at the Scuffle, so I kind of knew what he was like and what he felt like. So, like I said, I just prepared like I'd done with every match before that. Obviously, I had something going for me, so I didn't want to change anything up, but I knew each match was going to get tougher and tougher. So
that you ended up losing that match, tough match, overtime. That put you in the consolations. You still you locked up the All-American spot, but you have to continue to wrestle. So you lose your next match. The next match after that puts you in the 5th and 6th place match against
Evans.
Against Mike Evans, of course.
Yes,
so you have Oklahoma State, powerhouse, perennial powerhouse, year in, year out, John Smith versus Iowa, perennial powerhouse, year in, year out, Coach Brands. Was this kind of something that, as an Oklahoma State Cowboy, that you dream of? You at the NCAA tournament, opportunity to knock off an Iowa guy? Is this something that you guys, as Cowboys, kind of dream about?
I mean, I would lie and say, yeah, I mean, we like it, I mean, there's a lot of history, obviously. It's nice wrestling, someone who's gonna really wrestle you hard, because it kind of makes you a lot tougher. And to in the tournament with wrestling a Hawkeye, it was nice, especially getting your hand raised. I lost to an Iowa kid this year at the backup in November, so and I was having a rough time. But so, anyways, it was nice, getting the hand raised. A lot of our fans were really excited.
That place went berserk. I could not. Yeah. The roof was off. And the Iowa fans, when an Iowa fan or when Iowa wrestler loses, it's like the air going out of the balloon. You just hear it. And you're coming to your feet. You're getting the crowd every time you won the Oklahoma State. I mean, and you guys had multiple All-Americans, but no Oklahoma State Cowboy, even when Dearner won, was it never as explosive as you were continuing to bring those fans to your feet.
Yeah. I played football and stuff like that, so I kind of have a little bit, that kind of stuff to me.
You played safety, right?
Say again?
You played safety?
Yes, sir, and running back for.
Okay.
So I mean, it was nice, and I just wanted to give him something to be proud about. I think some people in those stands that were wearing orange thought I was going to do well, and then some of them really didn't. So I think the ones that were yelling louder were the ones who probably didn't think I was going to do as well. So it was nice, and those people deserve it. They've seen success forever, and we haven't won a national title in a couple years. So I just kind of want to show them that, we're on the rise and that we're going to win one in the next 2 or 3 years for that school. So it was exciting. I had fun. Wrestling for OSU excites me. Those fans excite me, so hopefully I can keep exciting them over the next couple of years while I'm in college.
Okay, so we'll end it on this. Next couple of years, you have underneath you the two-time defending NCAA champion, pound for pound, coming into next season. He will be, pound for pound, the number one guy in all of college wrestling, and Alex Dearner. As he should, yes. What's in store for you? He's already said that he's going 174. Are you going to look to go up or go down?
As of right now, we're going to make a couple decisions this summer as a team. We don't have a set plan, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go wherever the team needs me to win. I think Alex will too. We'll see.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer without answering the question, but I like it. Whatever the team needs to do for you guys to win. And I know that he mentioned on social media that after the NCAA tournament, Coach Smith brought you guys into the wrestling room and gave you a chilling speech for next year to get you guys pumped up for that off season. So I'm looking forward to the Cowboys being on top of the podium next year.
Oh yeah, that's the plan.
Well,
that's the plan.
Where can all of our fans and viewers follow you, and all your fans follow you on social media?
It's at CrutchDaddy1. I've had it since I was a freshman in high school, so nobody judge. I'm not a daddy yet. But yeah, at CrutchDaddy1. My Instagram, you can just Kyle Crutchmer. Facebook, you can look my name up. That's all I really have. I'm not. I don't have any like Xangas or MySpaces or anything like that. So
nothing crazy.
Those,
all right.
Those are the big ones. Yeah,
okay.
Those are the big ones.
Well, that's going to do it for episode number 16. Make sure you guys go check out WrestlingAddicts.com. That's ADDIX.com. You might see that it's a Michigan-based company, but don't worry. Wherever you are, you have two choices. You could either pick it up yourself or they'll ship it to you. They ship all across the country, so make sure you guys go to WrestlingAddicts.com, ADDIX. That's been it for the Associated Wrestling Press's Second Caution, episode 16. For Kyle Crutchmer, I've been Eric Olenowski. Thank you guys for watching.